It started with a post that turned my front yard into a free-for-all. I was inside, grabbing a coffee, when Lisa, my nosy neighbor, decided to play dirty. She posted an ad claiming everything on my lawn was up for grabs. Within 10 minutes, a guy in a bathrobe snatched my weed whacker. A woman hauled off my patio furniture yelling, "Thanks, Lisa," and someone rolled up with a trailer to take my barbecue grill. They showed me the Craigslist ad with my full address and a bold headline. Free yard sale. Everything must go. At the bottom, a smug selfie of Lisa, the same one she plastered on the Maple Grove HOA newsletter. This wasn't a prank, it was war. But Lisa didn't know I had one weekend left before moving out, and I had a plan involving her prized vintage bike collection and a little Craigslist karma of my own. Saturday morning was perfect, the kind of crisp spring day you'd want to freeze in time. My front yard was set up like a thrift store. Lawn chairs, labeled boxes of tools, books, and kitchen decor, a cooler of sodas on the porch, and a Bluetooth speaker humming classic rock. I'd posted neon signs around Maple Grove 2 days earlier, pointing to my sale. It was a standard yard sale, nothing shady, just a guy decluttering before moving to Boulder. But Lisa, the HOA's self-appointed queen, hated anything she couldn't control. She'd waged war on bird feeders and wind chimes last month. Now I was her target. Her only interaction that morning was a snide remark during her 7 a.m. patrol. "Hope you got this approved by the board," she sneered. I laughed it off. Maple Grove HOA rules allowed 2 garage sales a year, and this was my first since 2019. But around 9 a.m., chaos erupted. I'd stepped inside for 7 minutes to grab change and coffee when shouting drew me back out. My yard was a mob scene, strangers tearing through boxes, loading wagons and SUVs. I yelled, "Whoa, what's going on? This isn't free." A woman clutching my toaster shouted, "It's on Craigslist. Free stuff today only." A guy with my leaf blower added, "Said you're moving and donating it all." I demanded to see the post. There was a photo of my yard, my address, and everything must go. Free yard sale. At the bottom, Lisa's selfie, file name Lisa_star.jpg. She wasn't even subtle. I told everyone to stop, but the damage was done. Half my tools were gone, my coolers emptied, my crockpot vanished, and my speaker was silent. Someone drove off with my uncle's foldable table, yelling, "Thanks, mystery lady." I stood there, jaw tight, torn between screaming and laughing. Then I took a deep breath, went inside, and started planning. Lisa had declared war, but I had 5 days before moving and a memory of her bragging about her vintage bikes. At last year's HOA mixer, Lisa had gloated about her 8 rare bikes, including a gold-detailed one from Germany, stored in a separate garage. She'd even bragged about her backup garage code, her birthday reversed, after too much wine. I knew her birthday from the HOA's June newsletter. I wasn't going to break in, but if she wanted to play free stuff, I'd play back publicly and legally. That afternoon, I scoped out her garage. The bikes gleamed behind the windows like museum pieces. Motion lights flicked on, but I just smiled. Lisa wanted a show. She'd get one. I crafted a vague Craigslist ad. Eccentric collector donating rare vintage bikes to good homes. Earth Day celebration. Bring a helmet. No address. Just neighborhood event. Corner of Elm Street and Cedar Lane. Saturday, 10 a.m. Early birds welcome. I logged off and slept. Sunday morning, I added arrows mimicking Lisa's sabotage signs, pointing to her house. I didn't touch her property, but by 10 a.m., people swarmed her block. Families with helmets, collectors, even Instagram streamers. Lisa stormed out, screaming about trespassing. I waved from my porch, coffee in hand, and said, "Just returning the favor, Lisa." She slammed her door, yelling into her phone, likely to the HOA or police. But I hadn't posted her address or broken laws, just invited folks to a public sidewalk with a hint of mystery. By noon, the crowd dispersed, but whispers spread. Why did Lisa have a secret bike museum? Why flip out over kids peeking through her window? She tried to file an HOA complaint, but I'd already sent evidence of her Craigslist post, complete with her selfie watermark. The HOA was fed up with her antics, and her reputation cracked. But this was just the start. Lisa's obsession wasn't just control, it was her image. Her lawn was mowed like a golf course, her plants arranged by color, her mailbox engraved with a custom Maple Grove crest. Her bikes, custom carbon frames, vintage badges, one gold-leafed model spotlighted like art, were her crown jewels, worth more than her first house, she'd bragged. She never rode them, just polished and worshipped them. Last summer, she'd boasted about her smart garage system and backup code, her reversed birthday, and HOA social. Now, that detail was my weapon. I didn't need to touch her bikes. I needed to threaten her image. For Phase 2, I posted a Maple Grove Facebook event, Spring Sustainability Celebration. Donate, swap, recycle bike gear. Corner of Elm and Cedar, no money, just community fun. I mentioned rare vintage bikes spotted nearby, no photos. The neighborhood buzzed. By Thursday, joggers whispered about a gold-plated bike worth $10,000. Lisa sensed the shift, posting passive-aggressive rants about private property. But she didn't name me, not after the HOA complaint I'd filed. Friday night, I posted another Craigslist ad, community bike exchange, possible collector models, curbside display near Elm and Cedar. No address, just enough to lure scavengers. Saturday morning, browsers trickled by Lisa's corner, peeking at her garage. She snapped, storming out in yoga pants, clutching a clipboard, and yelling at a teenager for standing on the sidewalk. She waved unmounted security cameras, screaming, "I have you all on tape." A neighbor called the police when Lisa yelled at a 9-year-old for loitering. I showed the officer Lisa's original ad with her watermark. He chuckled, "Ma'am, maybe lay off Craigslist." Lisa stormed inside, slamming her door so hard her mailbox crest shook. The fallout was delicious. By Monday, Maple Grove buzzed with gossip. Lisa's rants flooded the Facebook group, claiming I'd weaponized misinformation. She demanded HOA reimbursement for emotional damages. Most ignored her. Some laughed. Her past disputes, reposted, showed a pattern of conflict addiction. The HOA called an emergency meeting to address her behavior. The community center was packed, standing room only. Lisa sat at the board table in a red blazer, acting unfazed. The president, Mr. Daniels, sighed and read a list. Her fake Craigslist post, aggressive messages, the bike meltdown, unapproved cameras, and yelling at a child. Lisa interrupted, claiming she deserved praise for vigilance. Someone laughed. A motion to strip her of HOA roles passed 14-1. Lisa, the lone dissenter, called it a witch hunt and walked out, robotic and defeated. The neighborhood felt lighter. Kids played freely, neighbors smiled. Lisa wasn't done, though. A rusted sedan, her nephew, a private investigator, watched my house. I confronted him, snapping photos. He mumbled about a delivery app and fled. I posted the car on the forum, and it vanished for days. Then Lisa sent a laughable letter accusing me of harassment and drone threats. I'd flown one to scare off her nephew's car. My attorney sent a curt response, and she backed off. Her final move? A restraining order claiming I'd waged a campaign of terror. At the courthouse, Lisa arrived in a dramatic coat and sunglasses, limping theatrically with a binder of evidence. She rambled about my posts and drone, but the judge dismissed her case in 5 minutes, advising us to avoid social media. Lisa stormed out, dignity in tatters. The HOA cut her off completely, filtering her complaints as irrelevant. A delivery van dropped off a bike box at her house, sparking gossip. She dragged it inside, aware of watching eyes, but her patrols stopped. Her posts vanished. She'd entered silent resentment, no longer a threat. For my final move, I didn't need drama. I mailed Lisa a single postcard and signed with a photo of a vintage bike and the words, "Some things are worth more when you let them go." It was petty, poetic, and legal. As I packed for Boulder, I heard Maple Grove had started a social committee and they wanted me on it. I declined but kept the t-shirt from the HOA barbecue. Free stuff, unless Lisa says so. Lisa's reign was over, her bike's untouched, but her pride in ruins. I'd won by staying calm, clever, and one step ahead, proving that the best revenge is a quiet checkmate delivered with a smile.